Welcome to the Why Not podcast with me, Chrissy Hawkins. In a world where everybody asks you why, I'm here to ask why not. So sit back and relax or walk and listen and join me on this journey as we try to answer this never-ending question: what makes people say, why not? So, we are hitting that part of February where all our new year, new me are going to go. So people who are gym regulars are like, yay, places are back. But, you know, if you are one of the new year, new me who pop in and out on the regular, this episode is for you. I have given about 3 or 4 tips for you if you are one of those people who constantly struggles with staying consistent and go for a bit, come back for a bit, all those things. I hope you find this helpful. So here's my episode on things to help you stay in the gym. All the people who are gym regulars are like, no, don't do that. Hi guys, how are you? Welcome back to Why Not. So we have kind of hit near the end of February now, which is really like the time when we get the kind of drop off of the new year, new me people. So they are those people who have joined the gym, or maybe you are one of them and you do this every year and you start and you go back to the gym and you either do a few classes or you get a gym program and you go hell for leather, and it is now towards the end of February, and you just kind of like, maybe you've not seen the results you thought you'd have by now, or maybe you're getting bored of the program and you're just like, meh. So basically what I'm going to do today is I'm going to talk about how we can avoid this giving up situation, things we can do instead, things that maybe help you change your outlook on it, because I think as well, when people start, we have that all or nothing approach, and maybe something or other has come up that has maybe stopped you being able to be all, and now you're kind of like, oh, what's the point? Or like, you know, the never miss a Monday. What happens if you miss the Monday? You're just like, is there any point going all week? So things like that we can change that mentality, hopefully, and even just help you figure out how you maybe keep this up as opposed to giving up, if that makes sense. So the first one I wanted to talk to is, and this is something that I think I see a lot of people give up a lot of the time very quickly, is you're not reaching the goal as quick as you think you should. So if that is true, here is 2 things to think of. One, maybe it's time to reassess your goal. Maybe your goal isn't attainable. Like a lot of us think we want to lose this amount of weight in this amount of time, and if it doesn't happen, we're a failure, because, you know, that's what we're sold on the internet, that this can happen, or we're sold in magazines, and maybe, just maybe, it might not suit you at all to have for your body to be that weight, let alone it be happen in that short period of time. So I think often, first off, we need to look at our goal. Is this goal attainable? Like, if you're reaching for an old weight, for instance, could that have been when you're 18 and had no responsibilities, and now you've got 2 kids and a job? Could it be a fact that you think you should, because you heard it on the radio, that you can lose this amount of time? Could it be a fact that maybe it's not healthy for your body to be this? So this is going to be probably a little bit uncomfortable and you really won't want to do it. But if that is something that's happened to you, sit down and look at your goal. Do you think, like, realistically, losing half a pound a week is really, really good? Also, if you're a woman, and if you're a man as well, your weight will fluctuate. So have you been making sure you've been checking your weight at the same time? Maybe it's time to stop looking at your weight altogether, because you might have been ignoring other things like how you're feeling or how your clothes fit, because the scale is moving. Also, women, time of the month, you're going to retain water, you're going to be heavier. If you log to the weights you've been taking at the same time under the same scenarios, have you seen a steady decrease? Or has it stayed the same? You know, this doesn't necessarily mean that it's not working, it might mean that you need to look at a different metric. Maybe your clothes been fitting better and you haven't even noticed that because you're too busy worrying that you haven't dropped any weight. Maybe you're feeling better in yourself, but again, you're too busy worrying that you haven't dropped weight. So let's look at the other ways that you can measure progress. You might need to move away from weight. Now, also, again, as I said, you might be expecting too much too soon. Maybe you just need to readjust your goals and think, okay, right, fine, it's not exactly what I wanted, but I have done this, and if I keep going, surely I should be this at this point. Logically, it should help. And then also, if you maybe potentially, as I said, had an unrealistic goal, look at your life now, look at your life, the goal you're looking at, or maybe even try and see where you can, like different things, say, that might impact your life. So if you're looking at a, say, goal weight, or as I said, you're 18, you had no children, you had this, you need to kind of look into that, you know, and be like, okay, this isn't realistic for me now. My lifestyle isn't conscious. I need to sleep. I need to look after the kids. I need to do this, that, and the other. Could I potentially change that goal to be something that I feel is now attainable and I'll still feel good about myself? So that is a really big thing that you can have to think about. Like, you know, there's likelihood is you will never weigh the same you did as a teenager. And that's a good thing because you shouldn't. But I think coming to terms with that, accepting that, can really help you continue with, you know, focusing on the health aspects as opposed to the weight loss aspects of training and exercise. So that is like kind of my first tip. I think that is really, really good for people who may be struggling and may not be seeing the results they think or want or need. They think they need. You don't need anything. But first off, go through them. And as I said, if it is a case of weighing yourself is giving you negative feelings all the time, it might be time to track it a different way and just completely ditch the scales. Because if you feel bad when it goes up and great when it feels down or goes down, that's probably not the best, because you are going to fluctuate. And unless you are actually tracking it and maybe graphing it where you can see there is a decline over time, it's probably best maybe to stick away from that. My second one is you might need to take a break. And that was in regards to, you know, the whole we're going hell for leather. So there's only so long you can continue going like 100 miles an hour, which is what a lot of people tend to do. They want to go to every class, they want to do this. Your body's not used to it. You're probably not, like, maybe you're on a very extreme diet now or something, you've tried to try out everything, and basically one of two things tend to happen is you'll either get injured or you'll burn out. And either way, if you will end up off training or out of the loop and not doing what you have been doing if you do either of these. So obviously if you injury, you could be sidelined for God knows how long, and it's very hard to train around. Well, it's not hard to train around injury, it's very, very, very easy. But if you're new to training, you probably won't have much experience about training around injuries, and it'll kind of give you almost a reason to stop. Not that you're looking for one, but there is a reason to stop. And then if you're burned out, you're just knackered. Everything hurts when you're training. You don't feel like you're making any progress. You're tired all the time. And you just like, fuck it, what's the point? And there again, people stop training because of this. Now, you might just need a break. You might maybe, like I said, you've gone hell for leather. Maybe you need to taper back your training. Maybe instead of 5, you should be in 3 a week. Maybe you should be getting out for an odd walk here or there. Maybe you should focus on eating more instead of eating less, or even just trying to get more sleep. There's all these other things that we can factor in instead of giving up, and all these other factors will also affect your results and how you're able to train, how you're able to perform. So instead of giving up altogether, maybe take a week off. And again, let's sit down and assess your goals and assess your training and see if it is working for you. Because you're tired and exhausted and not enjoying it and sore all the time and feel like you're going backwards, that's an indication not that you're a failure and you can't do it, but maybe you're doing too much and you need to maybe taper back, or maybe you need to eat some more food. Maybe the fact that you have just been completely eating so much less is is not helping either. Like, so again, it'll be a little bit uncomfortable, but you have to sit down and assess, is it working for you? If the answer is no, that's fine. That doesn't mean you stop. That means you go, okay, maybe I will do these days a week. I will set these days. See how I feel after a couple of weeks. If I feel great, then maybe I'll add another one in. If I feel it's still as bad, maybe I'll take another one off and I will focus in a lighter thing, like I said, like a walk or something like that, that'll be different. Look at your food. Are you eating enough? Yes, it's all great if you're eating well, but we don't want to be eating well at the expense of you actually, like, eating well does not mean not eating chocolate, not eating this, that, and the other, and no carbs and all that. Like, that's all well and good, but like, are you eating enough calories? You may need more calories, you may need more protein in your diet, as most of us don't eat enough protein as it is. So I know it's really hard to do that all yourself, so if you do need some help from someone, do go reach out to them, see if you can get it done freshly. Do not follow the likes of MyFitnessPal or any of those other ones that will give you a 1200 calorie goal. Yes, it is enough for some people. No, it's not enough for most people. And yes, you will probably get really quick results if you go on them. And no, it will not last forever, because as soon as you start eating normally again, you'll end up being so hungry that you eat everything and you put it all back on. So as I said, try and aim for that half a pound or half a kilo a week loss, as opposed to 5 pounds in a week. Don't let the online calculations do that, like, and give you a 1200 calorie goal, because it'll be hungry and miserable and you'll hate it. So it's just, instead of it being too hard and throwing it on, sit down, take some time and figure out how you can make this work for you. And this also is the same thing for people who are maybe had all the great intentions and are feeling like they're wasting their time because they're not making all the sessions that they said they were going to do. Maybe you just need to reassess. Just like that, you need to sit down and go, okay, I can't do 4 sessions a week, but 2 sessions a week is better than the no sessions a week. If I don't get there on Monday, if I still go Tuesday, Wednesday, or I still go Thursday, Friday, or I still go whatever, I haven't failed. It's just different. My schedule doesn't work to go this frequently. So now let's look at it. Look at my week. This is the thing people don't do as well. They don't look at their week and go, when do I have time to train? When does this work for me? You look at those days, you plan those days. So you go, okay, I know I've got time this day, and this day. If you're the type of person who comes home from work and sits down and doesn't leave again, you bring your gym gear with you. It doesn't matter if it's on the train or the bus, you go straight to the gym on the way home, or you have it in the boot of the car and then you go home after that. This is how if you keep trying to train in the morning, it's not happening, go in the evening. See if you can go at lunchtime. Figure out when will work for you and work at those times. Don't plan for things that aren't working for you. If you know you're not going to get up in the morning, you're going to train in the evening. If you know you're going to be too tired on Friday, don't schedule your session then. If you know you've got something every Wednesday, or sometimes you get held up in work so you won't make that class, don't plan to do them. Write down your schedule just like you schedule everything else and fit in realistic times you can train. It doesn't have to be 10 times in a week. It can be 2, it can be 3. That's all you need. But if you are trying to do too much and it's not been happening, and because of that you're finding it very hard to get motivated, taper it back, see what you can fit into your life and go from there, as opposed to trying to do so much more. So there's 3 things that we have. Well, kind of 2.5. I suppose there's just one's the same thing, but on different elements of it. So another one here is, I talked about, doing that gym program, or, you get an introduction program at the gyms. They get boring after a while, you stop going, or you start doing other things, or floating from thing to thing. And, those gyms will do new ones. If you are bored, do them. If you don't know why an instructor is giving you certain exercises, ask them. Like, you get a very generic beginner program for everyone. A lot of the time they just bring you around the machines and leave you off you go, because that's the easiest way to do it. And then maybe advise you to do a few classes. If you want more than that, you are going to have to say that. Like, you can't, like, if you have been to the gym, you have more experience, but you just don't know how to program, say that to them. Ask for something a bit more, like, advanced. Say, now I've been here a few weeks, I want to do something a little bit different. Happy days. Boom, they'll bring you a new one. Most gyms offer this service and a new one every time, because it's kind of necessary to help people, to improve and it keep them coming back. If you have the same program, you get bored, you're going to stop doing it, or maybe you'll start googling and start trying other things, but you don't really know what you're doing. And I've seen a lot of people, they kind of almost look nervous when they see you. Look, at the end of the day, we do the program, we're paid to do the program, you don't really care if you don't do it. But if you want to come and learn something or have something new, feel free to come and ask for a new one. And that's what the gym instructors are there for. They're bored a lot of the time, especially in commercial gyms, because they don't have jobs, basically. So they don't have gym based a lot of the time. They're just doing admin and stuff like that. So they're kind of happy to do a new program for you. And it's always great to see someone progress and want to change and do different things. On top of that, if you are trying to look for something that's a little bit next level, hiring a coach can really make a difference. Now, look, I know it's expensive and it's a cost of living and stuff like that, but a cost of living crisis, there's not a cost of living, there's always a cost of living. But if you are looking for something that can keep you accountable and keep you going, obviously getting the intros as you start in and doing a few classes can be really, really helpful and a really great way for you to get off the ground. But if you're at that point now where you're stagnating and you can't really seem to find a direction you want to go, or maybe you know where you want to go but you just don't know how to get there, this is where getting a coach, and even an online coach, and that can really help you, because they can do your programming for you. That's already sorted for you. They're there to keep you accountable. So if you're having a bad week, you can talk to them. They can kind of go, okay, great, so what can we change? Like that. If you're trying to do too much and it's not working for you, you can talk to them on how you can change and how you can bring that back, and what we can do to make sure you're getting the most out of your training. They can look at your schedule too and say, look, you're not going to get more than that. We're always full of the joys and have great intentions when we started a training program, but this is sometimes the coach's job, is to pull you back and be like, okay, that's great, but you don't have time for it. As I said, they can help you if you have issues with eating, you know what I mean, making sure you're eating enough. They can do specific, look for someone who specialises in what you're looking for. They are there to help you and guide you. And look, it can be really, really great way of leveling up your training. If you found you're one of those people who starts every January, gives up by May, not even May, but you know what I mean, starts every January, gone by March, back in for the summer, and you've never really gotten the results that you wanted, and you've gone in and out of classes and you've never really seen a huge difference or actually gotten to where you want to be. Maybe this is the next step that you need, is having a coach who can program you, give you a program for what you want, progress the program so you're not feel like you're getting stagnant, change things if it's not working for you, and then, as I said, hold you accountable. So not every week is going to be perfect. We always have great intentions of doing this, that and the other every week, and maybe we have it in our head, maybe we have it written down, but things don't go to plan. Things happen constantly that knock plans out of whack. You think you're going to get all this stuff done and it doesn't happen, and then it becomes very easy for you to not try because, well, it didn't work last time, so why would I bother? And that's why, as well, if you have a coach, you have a sounding board. Somebody you can be like, oh, this went shit, and you'd be like, okay, great, so could you control that? Maybe it was a week that something unexpected happened, maybe you fell sick. These are things that happen that aren't your fault, that you can't control, and at least you can bounce it off your coach and they can be like, yeah, well, fine, but you couldn't have done anything about that, you were sick. Or they can also give you a kick up the arse and go, look, the reason you didn't get your sessions on is because you decided to go on the piss Thursday and Friday and you're too knackered. It goes both ways. You can have nice coach, bad coach, whatever way you need them to speak to you. And obviously sometimes we do want that bit of truth reality check, I suppose. Like, if you're pissing about, like, sometimes you need someone to go, well, look, you would have done better if you hadn't have done this and this all week. Like, you know, sometimes we have bad weeks, sometimes things happen, but sometimes it's our own fault and we're self-sabotaging. So it's just another thing to think about, because as I said, we do see a lot of people coming in January, they get bored, they disappear, they come back just before summer, they disappear, they come back in September, they disappear. And if it is something like, if fitness and stuff is important to you, which it isn't for everyone, but you know, if your fitness and your health, as opposed to body shape, size, weight and all this, is important to you, having someone there to help you in your corner, be there to support you, can really make a huge difference in comparison to trying to do it all your own. And as I said, they can be there for you when you don't feel like being there for yourself, all these different things. So it is worth looking into. And, you know, and that's not necessarily me. Like, I'm not saying I'm the coach for you. I'm just saying, if you are looking to level up and you're having trouble, maybe look into someone that resonates with you. You like their style, you like how they talk, you like their approach, all those kind of things. And that could be anybody that you've been following on Instagram. It could be anyone you know. It could be someone in the gym. It literally, there's so many coaches out there. You will find someone if you do want them. So I think with that, I am going to let you guys go. I hope you found this helpful, and I hope if you are struggling a bit at the moment with your training, this maybe reignites the fire. I hate using the term motivation, but like, maybe it gives you a few things to, I suppose, change how you're thinking, and maybe have a come to Jesus moment and make you feel a little bit better about how things are going. If you are looking for me, you will find me on Instagram, Chrissy H Fitness, and also I have a horse Instagram and TikTok. It's Strong in the Saddle _ for Instagram, and TikTok is Strong in the Saddle. So that's all for all things equestrian fitness, and TikTok's a bit of fun on it too. And if you do want to inquire about working with me, you can find a contact form on www.chrissyhawkins.com. So I hope you enjoyed this. I really do appreciate everybody who listens to this podcast. So if you please could help me with the algorithm and leave a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And even, you know, if you want to reach out and suggest topics for me, I'd be delighted to hear from you. Drop me a DM on Instagram or TikTok. And thanks again for listening.